All right, so this is going to be a shortish video. There's a lot of content here, but most of it I think is better learned through the textbook. Um, uh, so here I'm going to be looking at transcription of consonants and really looking sort of general, reviewing the consonants and the symbols. We'll get into more detail in the Canadian English transcription primer video. So just to recap, like consonants are probably more easy to do in transcription than, for example, vowels. A lot of the symbols have a fairly straightforward um, sound meaning based on, literacy in any language that uses the Latin alphabet, just about, uh, with some exceptions, right? Uh, so the textbook goes through the plosives. They're fairly straightforward. PTK, BDG, example words just fine. Nasals, the M, N, and the ing sound, which has its own symbol. That's the N with the tail, but nothing too catastrophic there. The fricatives, we have a few newish symbols. And I say new, but like I say, you've done introductory linguistics, you've probably come across the theta, the th sound, the z sound with the ev character, the sh and j, sh with that long stretched s sound, j is that z with the tail on it. With the affricates, I do want to point out, like there are the textbook uses that tie bar. I'm okay without the tie bar, so using the ch, the stop, and the fricative symbol together, with or without the tie bar, is fine for me. Um, the there is something that the tie bar means, but it's a little bit subtler than what I'm really focused on in this course. What I really don't want to see, and is because, as the textbook points out, they're not official IPA symbols, is those, a single symbol that kind of melds the two. And I understand that that may seem like a subtle distinction, but this is where a specialist in a field does get persnickety about the fine details. So try to stick to the IPA standard. Like I say, the tie bar, not the tie bar, that's up to you. And we can have a philosophical discussion about the merits and demerits of that if you like. But anyway, that's where we're at for that sound. With the approximants, we have the L sound, the R sound. Remember, with the R, it's a turned R. And I think it is important to keep that in mind. These are not the same sound. These are both symbols in the IPA, and they represent different sounds. So as long as you're trying to represent the alveolar approximant, like we use in Canadian English, the R sound in bright and furry and stuff like that, you're using the turned lowercase r. It's only when you get into Scottish pronunciations and other languages that use an alveolar trill, the R sound, that you'll use that other R. So do pay attention to that. Let's see, what else do I want to say? So the only other thing that I do want to point out in this section is the W sound, the approximant, the labial velar approximant, W. And the thing that's fun about that is it's a fairly common sound across the world's languages, and it's the most common of what we call the double articulated consonants. Remember, a consonant is defined as a sound that has a constriction somewhere in the vocal tract. Well, some consonants have two constrictions, and the W is labial velar, so its place of articulation is two separate places. We have labial constriction, W, you can see that with the lips, and there's a velar. The tongue kind of comes up towards the velum a little bit as well. And so double articulations is kind of like a marquee, hey, this is something that may come up again later. There's one other double articulated approximant that you'll encounter in the world's languages, and then that tie bar is actually used for some other ones that certain languages use as well. So that's that's all I really want to say now for the consonants. We'll talk about more consonants more when we talk nitty gritty about transcription, um, and do play around with it. Right, transcription is about doing. So do. And I'll see you in the next video.